I'm gonna mute out. He's gonna leave in about 10 minutes.
That's cool. It's the baby. Cool. Hey, welcome everybody. Abram and Nikki here. Welcome to this this awesome live stream that we're doing today. We're just like, we're just pumped up.
Yes.
We've been working like our butts off the last few days, preparing for this and for some of the big things and the big vision that we really have for not only our team and all the people that are here, everybody that's running with us, but also people that are looking for a change in the pace of life, right? Looking to create something different. Maybe you had a dream for a long time of something that you wanted to do, but you didn't have the time, or the money, or the resources. Oh shoot! I don't know if the page updated. I gotta update the page. I gotta click update the page. It's a good thing Nikki checked because we're live and okay. Now try that.
Okay, so is it going to be a delay now?
No, we're going live. Okay, we're good.
So now we're starting over, or?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
It's just playing live. Sorry about that, folks. Welcome. Hey, so we're just talking about the dream, talking about the vision, talking about how we can help you create the lifestyle and the dream that you have to create. And today we've got some super cool guests down the bottom. Everybody's going to get a chance to meet Lawrence Tam, the self-proclaimed frugal Asian, ex-mechanical engineer, family man, big heart, one of our favorite foodies to hang out with whenever we get to go to the events. So you guys get to hear from Lawrence Tam, who's done over $1 million with this online business that we're going to be talking about today and how we can help you with that. And of course, we're going to be talking about money today, right? Money is one of those resources that can do a lot for you. Right, it can do a lot for you, and when you don't have it, there's a lot of things that you can't do. So for that reason, I want to let you know that if you want to know what the average earnings of an affiliate with our system are, you can go to empowernetwork.com/income, or click the link at the bottom of this page to find out more about that.
And I just want to give a shout out to our team. Yay, Team Have It All! You guys are so awesome. Thank you for being here, and the rest of the Empower team. I know there's so many people who are here, and you know, I just want to say, I love the title of this hangout, The Perfect Storm, because I actually got this idea for the title like last night, and this guy was going on about the perfect storm, and there's so many people who are like, there's this like amazing movement going on right now online, and it feels like a storm. And now a storm doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you notice, like when it rains really hard afterwards, it's like like the air is like super refreshing, and you know your garden grows faster, and there's this amazing nourishment and abundance that comes with it. So, you know, even more specifically than, hey, we're just going to talk about this really amazing vision, we're actually going to talk about how you can have, like, the most rapid results possible. Like, how can you actually make money today, right now? Like, by the end of this hangout, we would like you to walk away knowing what to do next to make money today. That's our mission. So I just wanted to kind of hit that home. Yeah. Because I know you started out with some fire, and I was like, okay, before we go further, I want to really make this clear that this is what we're here for.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, a lot of people don't know what the video that we shot yesterday, but
yeah,
if you did see it, you know, Nikki has showered since then. It's a good day. It's a good day for us. You know, we just been in the trenches so hard looking for ways to help more people, and we forget to eat. We forget to shower. It's been a crazy last few days, and we're excited to bring you some really cool information today. So we also have Mr. Paul Hutchings here that just joined the panel. What's up, Paul?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man, we can hear you good. We can hear you good.
Awesome.
And, for those of you who don't know Paul is just an incredible guy that we got the chance to meet recently in Seattle back in April. And we've known about Paul for a long time. I've seen some of his videos and stuff that just really inspired me and us to get out of our old living situation. Paul did something really cool. He's going to share more of his story in a little bit, but one of the things that I saw a year ago was that he paid off his home mortgage with his online business. And I was like, that's freaking cool, man. I have like a mountain of student loan debt that I wasn't able to pay, you know, accumulating over $100,000 in student loan debt in 2 years. Learning stuff that wasn't actually putting money in my pocket, right? So we're going to talk about also today, like, education that actually teaches you how to earn an income, right? Like, no matter what you're doing, how cool would it be to actually have education that has a great ROI on it? You know,
yeah, like they didn't really teach us that in school, did they? Just training us to be employees.
Yeah.
Training us to work in a factory, or
yeah.
get a job.
Yeah. And then Paul, if you don't know about Paul's results, Paul's done almost $400,000 in the last 2.5 years, which is kind of crazy, like kind of mind-boggling. And we talked to him, we started masterminding with him recently, and he was like, I've kind of just been cruising along, like, dude, you like almost $400,000 like cruising along. That's kind of crazy. But I also know that you have a story of how you started really quickly as well. And then sort of to wrap things up with us, and then I want to kick it over to you guys. Our panel is sort of like our story of rapid results. And I think if you're here on this hangout right now and you listen to the things that we're going to share with you, and you sort of like read in between the lines, you're going to pick up like that golden nugget that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. You're going to be inspired by a story or a piece of information that we share with you that you're going to go, light bulb moment. And you're going to know exactly what to do next in order to take your business or your life to the next level. And so it was not too long ago, about 1.5 years, that Nikki and I were living in a tiny little 850 square foot, probably.
Yeah. Like
2-bedroom little shack. True love at its finest. And we were struggling life coaches.
And we were singing that song, all you need is love. Da, 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 da. And then we're like, it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe we need something more than just love.
Right. And so we did the whole life coach thing. We changed the title to Catalyst or Transformation Agent every other week, hoping that we would get the special title of a secret sauce that would allow us to move our business to the next level.
And we also spent over $10,000 to become coaches and facilitators in this modality. And it's interesting as we've gone into doing this business model, how much we're learning about marketing. And I hear about all these network marketers, and they're like, well, they don't teach you how to market, and like you just get into this deal and they don't teach you how to market. And it was like the same thing with us. It's like, well, great, now you're like these certified magnificent facilitators, now go forth and prosper. And it's like, what do we do? Yeah. So.
And then really quick, who's here with us? Like, comment in the comments below. Let us know that you're pumped up for the panel today. I think I forgot to mention this. Between the 4 of us, we've earned over $2 million in commissions on the internet in the last 2.5 years. And again, income disclaimer: if you're showing up late, we just mentioned this, but our results are in no way typical. We've definitely chosen not to be typical, but if you want to know what typical looks like, go get a job. Just kidding. But no, really, you can click the link below this video. There's an income disclaimer. You can go to empowernetwork.com/income and look at that a bit more. But I want to see who's here, and then I'm just so fired up. Maybe we'll even just tell like the second half of our story later, and how we just crossed $250,000 in 1.5 years. Maybe we'll save some of that and how we got started.
And how we broke free from being broke life coaches, transformational agents, and broke bloggers.
All 3. It's like list them. We've been it, and I know
broke bohemian hippies.
Yeah. I know these gentlemen have done some of that too. Maybe not the hippie part, maybe not the bohemian part, but the whole broke thing. Like, we all have that in common from our past. So who's here? What's up right now?
Brittany is here. Sandy Levesque is here from France. Tracy's here. We've got Ashley here. Lori Shin, Carrie Ann. I mean, it's just, people are just so excited.
Blowing up.
Rolling in. So awesome.
Yeah. So who wants to go first? Lawrence, Paul, who wants to share first and share with everybody here like what it takes to create lightning speed success? Yada yada.
I'll jump out. Yeah, I'll jump out. Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Please excuse the noise. Baby's still, I think, roaming the house. Nope, they haven't left yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna, it's awesome. You guys are awesome. What you guys have done. Have you guys perfected the finger to the mouth move for crossing $250,000? So one does the index and one does the pinky. So it's kind of like maybe like a hook, maybe like a hookup. That can be like, that's when you get like $500,000. I don't know. That's pretty. Now, income disclaimer, results aren't typical. I mean, obviously, when you have 3 people on this panel who've made hundreds of thousands on the internet, it's just not typical. So let's not talk about typical things, right? Typical things would be, wait, was baby? Sorry. Sometimes he like sneaks up on me and scares me. So a non-typical discussion is, what are you doing today on a Tuesday? See, a typical question would be, hey, what are you doing after
Hey,
work?
Paul, can you hear Lawrence?
Hey, can you hear me, guys? Hey, guys.
I can hear Lawrence. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a typical question would be, hey, what are you guys, what are you guys doing on a Tuesday after work? After work. But for us, like today's a Thursday, and today I took my wife to go see our kids' first grade award ceremony. Then we left to go shopping for chandeliers and closet organizers. Then we went to go look at some cabinets. Then we went to my third grade. My third grader had another award ceremony, and then in between of that, we had some barbecue and we talked about life. Kind of interesting, right? And all of that time, we're driving around town, talking, hanging out. She drives, I take a nap. I drive, she takes a nap. And now she's taking baby to go pick up the kids after tennis practice. This is the first time I've logged into my computer to kind of hang out with you guys, right? And that's a non-typical way to build a business. But what's cool is we give you that ability with how we market, right? Some of us use Instagram, some of us use YouTube, some of us use blogging, some of us use Facebook, some of us use, traditional network marketing, offline methods. Some of us do hotel parties. And it's a really cool way to kind of like build your business if you're selling dog toys, dog treats, dog services, selling houses to dogs, whatever it is. We love dogs, obviously, because, Nick and Abram have a really cool, is it French bulldog? What kind of bulldog is that? French.
The French bulldog.
So, maybe you have a German bulldog or a Swiss bulldog. I don't know, whatever bulldog you got. There's plenty for you because there's a lot of different places where if you have a desire to learn and you really wanted to serve, there's people right now who want your expertise. And the cool thing is you can build an expertise. You don't have to be a natural at anything. What you need to be natural at is being hungry to achieve something. That's it. Just be hungry. Because if you're hungry to achieve something, you'll learn it, you'll do it, you'll just puss through it, and you'll absorb the information necessary to teach it. And in our market space, and what we do in internet marketing, it's the 3 phases of learn, do it, then teach it. Which means, it doesn't mean be born with it, be given it, or inherit it. It has nothing to do about that. It's learn it, then do some of it, and then teach it. An example would be, how does someone set up a blog? How does someone cut hair and your bangs to be straight with yourself, with the mirror? How does someone set up a podcast to broadcast my love affair with, cooking? Learn it, do it, teach it, and the crazy thing is you can get paid if you monetize your business properly. When I say monetize properly, here's an example of proper monetization, and here's another example of non-proper monetization. So basically non-monetization. Here's an example. What's the difference between a consultant and a teacher in terms of pay? The first thing you think of is what? Consultants, specialized, paid higher amounts, and they're generally sought after to what they do. They solve problems. What does a teacher do? Generally, generic teaching, broad cases, and not highly as paid, especially in the United States. Now, maybe if you're in Finland, you might get paid 6 figures, but a consultant will always get paid a lot because they solve particular problems. Now, if you treat your business like a consultant business, either through paid traffic or maybe however you build your business, consultancies, versus a teacher business, that's the difference of how you get paid. See, people come to look for consultants and pay for their time, where teachers, they just kind of feel like, hey, I'm here, teach me because I'm ready. It kind of works like that, and it kind of doesn't. The way we market, we have so much free information. That's the teacher. Gobble it up, teach it, learn it. Go ahead, dive into our free trainings. Go see our free marketing videos. Go dive into our YouTube channels. Go check out how we do our Instagram marketing. That's the free teaching method. But that has nothing to do with our personal time. A lot of you are marketing right now. You're using only your time, and you're making a little bit amount of money on that. Here's an example. Income disclaimer, I don't know what you're capable of doing, but the 3 people on this Hangout have done thousands and thousands of dollars in the last 48 hours. I just told you what I did today. I went shopping, went to my school's hangout, went some more shopping, had some barbecue. Actually went into another house to look at some bathroom designs. We saw a really cool bathroom design. It was like a mosaic inside of a shower. We're like, that's just so cool. I want to be able to do that. We're taking pictures. We're measuring. No average person makes thousands of dollars during that time because the average person is trading their time for money. And I don't do that. And if you were to do that, make sure it's at a premium. And so, I mean, that's, my store, just real quick, I've made over $1 million in Empowered Network. I currently, as of today, I'm the #1 affiliate in our contest. I've sponsored thousands of people into multiple organizations. At one time, I was like the #1 in 3 different organizations while working as an engineer. How is that possible? The things that we teach, the things that will physically just give you, and we're just looking for people who want to run with us. I'm so excited. I retired from mechanical engineering at the age of 33. My wife has officially left the house. She retired from accounting, and we're building a house. We're building our dream home. We're living like Abram did, going from a really small, like really minimalistic, point of view of like this is all we need. But no, we don't really need 6,000 square feet, but it's nice to have it. You know what I mean? And so you guys are just living the lifestyle, flying first class, and just loving life. And that's the kind of same story. I'm allowing people to live through me by saying, here's some things you can do right now. SEO, blogging, maybe use Facebook. Dive in, be a good student, learn it, do it, teach it, and then find out how we monetize. So you're no longer being paid like a teacher, but more like a consultant. I'll stick around. So, I got the whole afternoon for you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for what you guys have done. Your team just blew up. I think 2 days ago, like of all like the clients coming in, the high-end clients, it's like your team, Team Havanault just crushing, but we got Paul here who's just crushing it too. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some notes. And if there's one tip I can give you, it's this. If someone has the lifestyle that you want, you should listen to them if they're talking about businesses and what they do and their lifestyle, if that's what you want. Now, if someone's digging a ditch all day and they're telling you how much they love their life and that's not the lifestyle you want, that's awesome that they love their life, but that doesn't mean you should follow that because you don't want to dig ditches all your life. But if a guy is able to travel the world, have nice wine, and play with dogs all day, if that's the lifestyle you want, you should listen to that person and how they treat their money, their time, and their lifestyle. Absorb it so you can also do the same thing and mirror it. So that's what I got. Thanks, guys. I'll pause it up. I'll mute up.
Okay. I love it, Lawrence. Thank you so much for that. I just love your passion and your fire and like how fast you deliver. You're just like boom, 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 and that's one thing I've noticed in, us up-leveling our lives in the last year and a half and getting to hang out more with millionaires is how fast they take action, how fast they move. They're just always like moving and they're thinking fast, but they're more important than just, being able to have tons of ideas, they're implementing really fast. And I can just tell, like, hearing you and listening to you and watching you in the last few days, how on fire you've been. So for our team, you just absorb that energy, take that, borrow that enthusiasm. I think Lawrence has enough for all of us. And and just run with it. And Lawrence, I do want to hand it off to Paul, but I did want to ask you a question because I know that you were, you talk a lot about being stuck in a cubicle, and the way that you talk now is about it's really about thinking outside of the box and being outside of the box. So for people who, for example, one of the things that I know we did to just quantum leap our reality is like we're like, well, we have to be willing to invest in ourselves and invest in that education. It actually teaches you how to make money because you can learn the best, even self-development stuff out there, but if you don't learn how to monetize that, how are you ever going to get that out into the world? So what's interesting is I was talking to Abram before the hangout, and I was like, what's really fascinating is how much we spend on, cars, and it's like we spend we'll go into debt to have a car just to get by to go to the grocery store, and then we'll buy groceries and go into debt. And people are putting groceries on their credit cards now, and then they're paying interest for their food. And yet, when it comes to saying, okay, here we are, here's this panel of, together we're set like 7 figures. You're a 7-figure earner. We got 6-figure earners.
Sex figures.
Sex figures.
Sex figures.
get dirty in here. So, now I hope I don't forget what I was gonna say.
You're gonna ask him a question, I think.
Yeah. So people are just spending their money in towards survival, and yet that survival is just digging a deeper hole and putting them further in the box. Maybe tying them even longer to their cubicle or whatever sort of job they have that they're not happy with. Now, when you tell somebody, now go, you just need to invest in yourself. And it's a fraction of what it costs to have a car. It's a fraction of a college education. But there's kind of this barrier that people have to that. So I would just love to have your take on that. I would love to have, because I know you built, from what I remember, you built your business in the cubicle. Like, you were so determined. So what made you really go, enough is enough? Have that bigger vision. And then what would you have to say to people who get that defensiveness about investing in the kind of...
I would think anyone who has that initial response of not wanting to invest in themselves, oh, that's too much for education, oh, I don't want to buy that book or training course. The first thing you want to ask is, number one, are they making the money they want to make? Now, there's going to be two parties. One that says, yes, I make six figures, and no, I don't make enough. But the second other part of that is, are they making enough, and are they happy in what they're doing? Right? So as an engineer, you can make six figures a year. You just work a freaking ton, a lot of hours, and you're basically I don't like the word that we use slave, but let's just say you're a tool. It's plain and simple. If you're a business, and you grab an engineer out of college or who has a degree or who has experience, you're paying that tool money in exchange for its time. And in my case, it'd be 40 to 50 hours building oil and gas tools, right? And, sorry that, your wife has another child, but you got to come to work. Sorry that, your wife, went on a cruise, but you ran out of vacation. Sorry that we can't pay you more because our company doesn't have any more money. You're actually a structured box, right? And it was like, I wouldn't say it's kind of like The Matrix when you wake up, like the movie with Keanu Reeves, the instant classic. It's more like you realize something. It's like when the part of the movie where the music changes a little bit and the lights kind of dim and the focus goes to the eyes, and then you realize the main actor just goes, crap, I just got screwed. You know what I mean? It's like that idea, right? So
Yes.
A lot of us go to college not knowing why we go to college, but in the big scheme of things, it's a scheme as an actual plan. In the big scheme of things, you went to college to make money. Let's just be real. If you didn't go to college to make money, you would have gone to the library. Why would I say library? You would just go read books all day and learn about history, learn about Napoleon, and learn about, different elements in the periodic table. You wouldn't go pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a semester to learn about rocks or learn about psychology or learn about, why business systems work. You wouldn't. The only real reason people go to college is to get the education necessary to get a job or to be able to build their own businesses or incomes. That's it. It's to make money. So if someone goes, I don't know if it's worth it, so, well, how much do you pay for college? And is that really paying off for you? Because the average person I know, they are 10 years out of college and still paying for their college debt. That's kind of interesting. You pay $50,000 to go to college, but you make $50,000 in a year. The best month I had in our company was $144,000 in a single month. Now, income disclaimer, results aren't typical, but if someone were to tell me, Lawrence, go get an engineering degree, and you will learn the system of being able to make $144,000 part-time from home. And if someone told me that, I would have, dude, that's an irresistible offer. Sign me up. I want to be an engineer. But in engineering, they go, look, you want an engineer to learn, but you get paid anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000 coming out of college. And as a high school student, that's like, I'm rich. But problem is, single. If you're single, that might be okay. But once you get a spouse, once you get kids, once you have a mortgage, once you have car payments, $70,000 a year is not a lot of money. I hate to tell you that. I mean, what was the last time you looked at what refrigerators cost? A normal refrigerator, $1,000. The refrigerator that is a Sub-Zero, it's $10,000. Why is there such a big discrepancy? Who can pay $10,000 for a refrigerator and when the average person pays $1,000? It's the same thing. Everyone should really be driving a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord, maybe $20,000. But if you look around, there's a whole bunch of Lexus, whole bunch of BMWs, whole bunch of Mercedes that go from 80 to 100,000. Why is that? They understand the system that they're in isn't based upon their time. And if it is, it better well be north of $100 an hour. It has to be. Because if not, you're going to be digging ditches, metaphorically, digging ditches because your time is no longer an asset to you. You're no longer using what works in the system. And my dad taught me this. My dad's like, look, I'm going to make you do the worst jobs on planet Earth so you will remember not to make a living with your hands. I'm like, dude, I'm in middle school. I don't know what you're talking about. I literally worked every summer with my parents, eating through restaurants, washing dishes, waiting tables. I would paint homes. They had a real estate gig, right? And then they would actually have property management for apartments. I would fix toilets, go with the construction guy, go with the service department to go fix ACs on top of a roof. You ever fixed an AC unit on top of an apartment complex? It's like boiling out there in Texas. I don't know about Colorado, but it's boiling in Texas. And he's like, look, son, you might not like this, but the reason I do this is this. Do you see that guy painting that house? Do you want to do that for the rest of your life? And I go, that is the worst way to make money. And that was just really ingrained in me. Like me and my buddy, we would just go paint houses, and we go, you know what? This job sucks. But we knew it was a job, and we knew it was trading our time for dollars. And then that got me. He's like, Lawrence, well, he calls me Day Day. That's just the Chinese thing. He's like, Day Day, look, you would never make the money you want to make if you don't get a solid education. Now, he just recommended engineering because, all my uncles are like PhDs and engineers. He's like, but you can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, if you don't learn how to make money outside of your hands, you're always going to be working for somebody, and there will be a time you will get laid off. My dad's been laid off. I've been laid off twice. My brother's been laid off. My wife's been laid off. Every single person I know has been laid off at least one time. And it held true. He was predicting the future. You will find hardship, and if you don't increase your value, your mind, how can you be hired? Number one, get a good degree because you can fall back on it. No one can take it away. Once you get a degree and diploma, no one can take it away. But outside of that, dude, do whatever you need to do to make it happen. And so he's just been a very good inspiration to me. Systems work, business models work, but the average person seems to forget the system that they're in has a glass ceiling. And if that glass ceiling is not where you want to be, it's time to wake up, convert your resources, your funds, your time, whatever it is, to something that will open up, that has more of a high-end, top-tier, bigger level return for you. So when I say education is the most important thing, because I will take training over skills, natural skills, anytime. Because someone who's ready to learn, that person can be molded. Someone who has skills sometimes gets lazy. They rest too much on their personal abilities. Like, oh, I can talk, or, oh, I look good. No. That's not how you get paid, right? You get paid with hustle. And if you have hustle, if you have that hustle, we can teach you how to make your first $10,000 day. So that's what I got.
Yeah, and you know what's great about that, Lawrence? You talked about the glass ceiling, and really the only way to bust through it is to increase your education, your knowledge, and then how you're applying it, right? Because applied knowledge is better than just knowledge on ice, right?
And I have to just say real quick that even for people who seek alternative education like we have, because there's a lot of people we know that are sort of like, they look at it as sort of that matrix that you mentioned, like the movie, like we're in this matrix. So I'm going to go learn how to be a yoga teacher. I'm going to learn how to be a Zumba instructor. I'm going to learn how to be a life coach. And what's so funny about that too is like, well, you might pay less up front, but a lot of like companies that start, it's like you got to pay like $6,000 worth of dues every year. You got to pay $10,000 worth of dues every year. Like we would have to keep getting our certifications over and over and over again. But nobody's teaching us how to nobody was teaching us how to market any of that stuff. So I just know a lot of people who are like, they're like, well, here's my passion. I love teaching yoga, but they can't get people into their classes, or they love Zumba, but they want to have some other kind of, residual passive income because they don't want to work out 5 hours a day.
What if you get sick?
What if you get sick? You're still tied to, it's like trading your time for money and your body for money at that point. So I just wanted to bring that in too, because I know we've got quite a few people on this hangout that, maybe they've also sought alternative paths, but they still don't have a system. They still don't have a system that would allow them to, sort of automate their income more. So, Aaron, take it away.
Yeah. Well, and then to kind of wrap up what you said, Lawrence, and I think it's a great segue to bring Paul out. Is you said you would trade. How did you say? You said you would trade skills, like learning skill sets, over. How did you put that?
I would take someone who has a hustle, who can learn, versus someone who's resting on their natural abilities.
Yeah.
That natural ability, even if you don't hone that natural, if you can sing, if you don't practice at it and have the drive to really craft it and mold it, then that's your income level. You're limiting yourself at that point.
Right. And so there's that cultivating of your skill sets and that practice and stuff that becomes so important based off the things that you're learning, the way you're growing. And when I think of that, I think of two things, right? I think of one, I think of Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. Right, and some of the stories that he tells in there about people that came into companies or businesses at the very bottom with a big dream to go somewhere else. I think even like Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. I think in like Rich Dad Poor Dad, another great book. If you haven't read it before, read that book. He teaches about how it's sometimes better to go even get like an internship or get paid nothing just so you can learn from somebody who's very, very skilled. And that person is always going to be looking for somebody that has hustle and has a dream. Right, and so when I think of people that have hustle and have a dream, I also think of Paul Hutchings, right, who we're so excited to have here on the Hangout today because he's a guy with a dream, right, and a big vision for stuff. So we're excited to have Paul out here, and whenever I think of Napoleon Hill, I think of Paul Hutchings.
I do too.
Just straight up, right? Yeah. Paul does this awesome like Think and Grow Rich call.
Like the Think and Grow Rich guy. It's Paul.
It's Paul, and so I'm just excited for you to share some stuff, Paul. I don't really have a question for you. I'm just excited that you're here, and I know you're going to have something really amazing to say, and your story is one.
And how can people make money today?
How can people make money today?
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, listen, guys, let me just start by saying I'm honored to be here. Thanks for inviting me out. All the respect in the world for $250,000 earners, Abram and Nikki. And I'll tell you, my brain's still spinning on the $144,000 a month and 2 naps today. Did he say 2 naps today? I'm like, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Really, I think going back to what some of you guys mentioned in the first part of this hangout, it is about thinking differently. It is about thinking outside the box. I was sitting in church this last Sunday, and there was a lady speaking, and she was talking about getting out of debt. And one of the things she said is, she says, you should get out of debt. She's like, but your house, you can't. She's like, you can't get out of debt for your house and your cars. Those are kind of like just given. You're going to be in debt, for those 2 things. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, hold on here. We just paid off our house last year thanks to this business that we're all blessed to be a part of. We don't have any debt on our cars, right? And you don't have to think the way that everybody else thinks. And that's one of the beautiful things about being on a hangout like this, is you can plug into people who think differently, like Avram and Nikki and Lawrence, and you can kind of elevate, well, not just kind of, you literally can elevate the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Wallace Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich says, well, actually, you lift your thoughts to a higher plane. And that's one of the big things we're doing as entrepreneurs, just learning how to think differently and learning how to dream bigger and do bigger things in life. So I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone on the Hangout, because just the fact that you're here means that you're on a powerful course in your life, right? Regardless of, whether you join today, regardless of whether you take action on some of the amazing stuff that we're going to be presenting to you, the fact that you're here means you're on a powerful course, and I would just encourage you to continue down the path. I do want to share a couple of things about my story, because I think there are some really valuable lessons. Avram and Nikki mentioned that I've earned, what was it? I actually don't even know. Like, Abram is like, hey, how much money have you earned? And I'm like, hold on, let me look it up. So I'm like checking it out. I think it's like 380,000 or something, almost like 400,000.
Like 86 or something crazy like that.
What's that?
It's 86 or something crazy like that.
Okay, cool. So like I hear that number, I'm like, holy cow! If I really made that much in the last little bit of time, and the reason it blows me away, and the thing that I really want to point out is there might be someone watching this hangout right now thinking to themselves, can I really do this with my circumstances? Can I really have a better life based upon? Because a lot of times what sometimes we do is we judge our future based on what's happened in the past. And the truth is your past does not equal your future. And I can prove that. My story just a few years ago, kind of like Abram and Nikki, I mean, they said, 18 months ago you guys were living in an 800 square foot apartment, right?
It was April of last year.
April of last year. And now you're $250,000 earners in a new home, right? And top earners being recognized by one of the biggest companies that's paid out, has the biggest earners in the profession. I mean, it's amazing how fast your life can change. And my story is somewhat similar. I mean, just a few years ago, it was 2010. I'd been coming off 14 failed business ventures. Right, I got this dream of, as a matter of fact, talking about different ways we can get money. One of the greatest books that people can read on this is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I remember back in 2005, I'm sitting in my single-wide trailer house. It's 14 by 70, right? It's parked on my grandfather's land because we didn't have any money to buy land. When my wife and I got married, I was making 11 bucks an hour. And talk about education. My college education probably didn't cost as much as Lawrence's, but $40,000 for my degree. And guess what that got me? That got me a job making 11 bucks an hour, right, after I graduated, right? And so what we could afford is we could afford a single-wide trailer house. So I remember back in 2005, I'm sitting in this single-wide trailer house, and I'd cracked open a book, and I was striving to put some different ideas in my brain, just like we're all doing on this hangout right now. And I remember Robert Kiyosaki talking about how wealthy people get money in different ways than poor people. And it was what Lawrence taught, right? Poor people trade their time for money, and Robert Kiyosaki says wealthy people don't do that. He said wealthy people build assets. They build systems. They build businesses. They own things like real estate, and what wealthy people do is they have these pipelines that are coming from the marketplace into their bank account. And yeah, there's some work getting it all set up, right? Lawrence is talking about, taking naps and hanging out with his family and shopping for all kinds of luxurious stuff for his home. I'm sure he put some work in to get the pipeline set up, right? There's some work in setting the pipeline up, but man, is it worth it, right? Is it worth it to set the pipeline up? I mean, look at Lawrence's life. Look at Abram and Nikki's life. Look at my life now. I finally don't have, I don't have to have a job. I wake up in the morning and I do what I'm passionate about. I get paid great, money doing it. I get to be with my family. I love hearing Lawrence talking about his family. I'll tell you, I'm always at my kids' functions, right? Middle of the day, they got plays going on. They got skits going on. I'm there with my wife, and I'm sure, Lawrence, the same thing for you, right? You look around the room, and I'm the only dad in the whole room, right? And there's my kids just pumped that dad's there. But anyway, I started in a single-wide trailer house, a 14 by 70 single-wide trailer house, broke, 14 failures in business. I was making a few $100 a month at the time, and I was frustrated. I was wondering, is this entrepreneurial thing ever going to work for me? And just quickly, and then I'm going to share a couple lessons, and I'll pass it back on to you guys. But let me say, you can do this wherever you're at, right? If you're in a trailer, you can do this. If you're in a 800 square foot apartment, you can do this, as long as you've got a desire for a better future. And if there's one thing that I believe I know, and I can say to everybody on this hangout, is that you have better things waiting for you in your future. You're not meant to do like, this morning I was driving home from the gym, and I flipped on the radio, and this lady calls in, and she's like, when my husband and I got married, we did stuff, we went hiking and things like this, and now my husband, he just kind of wants to sit around on the couch and watch TV. right? He's like lost his gusto for life. And I got out of the truck and I was like, that is a man who doesn't have a dream. That is a man who's not living. That is a man who doesn't have a picture of something better in the future. And I'm telling you, life's not meant to be lived like that, right? Breaking out of the box, we got to break people out of the box. Because the way the system trains people to live now is it trains people to go to school, get a good job, and then be frustrated and be disappointed and hate what they're doing for the rest of their lives, never having enough money, right? Going to this job every day wondering, is there more to life for me? Well, we're all here on this hangout to tell you there is more to life. I love Avram and Nikki's team name and the banner, right? You can have it all. Like, you really can, right? You really can. If you learn to put better thoughts in your mind, if you learn to be around, people who are going somewhere, who have a dream and a vision. Anyway, back to my story. I know I'm kind of rambling, but I'm living in this trailer house thinking, is this going to work for me? And I remember one night tucking my two boys in bed. And we were in the back room of the single wide trailer house, and we had this bunk bed set up, and we had all this storage on top because little 14 by 70, right? Storing stuff in the kids' room. My two little boys are sleeping, one's on one end, the other's on the other, and I read them their stories. They go to sleep, and I was just looking at them, and I was like, crap, I'm failing as a husband, I'm failing as a father. What am I going to do to turn things around? Can I turn things around? I don't know what else to do, right? And the reality is I was operating on a specific set of information that was keeping me at a certain level. It was keeping me broke. It was keeping me running around in my business chasing my tail. And what happened was I actually prayed to God, right? Don't jump off the hangout. This isn't like a religious call, but I literally knelt down, tears in my eyes, and I was like, God, if you're there, please help me. Please help me find a solution. And I got this impression that I needed to change who I was listening to, and I needed to get better information. And so one of the people I started listening to, and the reason you guys think of Napoleon Hill is I started studying Napoleon Hill. I started studying Think and Grow Rich, and I started studying the things that he had discovered after studying the wealthiest people on planet Earth. There's a formula, right? Wealthy people think in a certain way, they act in a certain way, and this stuff can be learned. So I started to learn this stuff. I started to buy education about marketing. I started to, learn how to move my business forward in new and better ways, in different ways. And what happened for me is my life turned around. I went from being broke, busted, and disgusted, living in a 1984 single-wide trailer house, not knowing if I was ever going to achieve my dream of being, having my freedom. I went from that, and in a relatively short amount of time, right? Avram and Nikki talking about, tell me again, was it 8 months, 12 months? How long was it? Okay, right around that time.
We
right around
because we didn't want to,
Yeah, it only took 4.5 months to get out.
Yeah.
4.5 months. That's how fast your life can turn around. I mean, for me, it was
vacation already. We took a vacation before we moved out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So for me, it was like 6 to 12 months. I start signing people up in my business. People are calling me, right? They're seeking me out, wanting to be a part of what I'm doing. And the money started to come in, and it continued to come in. Next thing I know, we're paying off our house. I'll never forget the day, my friends, that I wrote out a check to make the last mortgage payment. The check, I think, was like $15,000 or $20,000 because we've been paying it down as we're making this money. And I'll never forget the day getting my wife in the car, going to town, dropping that check off at the bank, right? And stuff like this can happen for you. If it can happen for me, if it can happen for Avram and Nikki, if it can happen for Lawrence, it can happen for you if you're coachable and if you're willing to put new thoughts and new ideas into your head, right? And I want to share just one little quick thing, and then I'll turn it back over to you guys, because I was kind of looking at the things we said we were going to teach in this hangout, and one of them was how to double, triple, or quadruple your income, right? Who wants to know how to do that? I mean, how do you do that, right? Whatever business you're in, how do you do that? Well, I had an experience where when I started learning this stuff, I was in network marketing. That's my background, and I built teams. Like, we built a team one time of 600 people, in my local hometown of Blackfoot, Idaho, and my check was about $1,200 a month. I started learning this internet marketing stuff, and I actually joined a new company, and something weird happened. Like, I went a few months, and all of a sudden I had a $7,000 check in my hand. And I was like, and my team was only like, I only had a team of like 200 people. So I was like, hold on here, 600 people for $1,000 a month versus 200 people for over $7,000 a month. What happens? Like, how do you double, triple, quadruple your income with the same amount of results or even far less results? And the answer, my friends, is actually contained in a book that I recently read called Convert. It's by Frank Kern. He's like this big internet marketer. You ask yourself, how do I double, triple my income? What Frank Kern says, he says most people are running around looking at the wrong stuff. They're looking at how do I tweak my capture page? I mean, not that you don't want to do that, but he's like, how do I get more sales? How do I tweak my capture page a little bit? And here's the answer. He says the way you can instantly increase your commissions is figure out how to earn, like Lawrence said, a premium for what you're doing. Raise the price you're getting paid. Add more value so you can get more money. Sell more expensive products. Sell more valuable products. Sell things where you have bigger commission. That's how you can quickly double, triple, or quadruple your income. So I know I'm rambling. I'm going to send it back to you guys. That's just a little bit that was on my mind. Thanks for letting me share. I really appreciate it.
Dude, that's freaking awesome, man.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, because that was one of the things that that when we first started doing like our life coaching and all that, I mean, well, you were charging. I don't remember what you were charging, but I started doing video. I was a wedding videographer at one point, believe it or not. You know, shooting videos at weddings and dealing with bridezillas and stuff. But I remember quoting my first video project for like $25 an hour, and that was a lot for me at the time, you know. And over the years, I ended up charging, you know, upwards of $150, $175 an hour for my video services, right? It was the only way to earn more money at the time. I was still trading time for money, but at least I was making better money. But it still wasn't like the premium. And so nowadays, you know, Nikki and I, we both charge $500 an hour or more for our coaching and our time and our services. And like, I think that's more of the premium of what it's like to trade time for money. But it's like still trading time for money, right? So it's like, what are some ways that you can sort of remove yourself from the equation? That's a lot of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have something you wanted to say. Yeah.
I just have to say this comment. I just love it. This guy PJ wrote, "Is it possible to OD on Paul?" I don't think so. And that's how I feel about having you on the Hangout, Paul. I just love your energy and your enthusiasm, and you're just like getting it. You're like, we could see your beautiful blue eyes, and how could you not melt with those beautiful blue eyes? And you're like, you don't have to be, you know, you can have the life you want. I just love it. And I'm just looking at the comments rolling in, and you know, one of the things that stands out, I just want to say this to our team especially, and everybody's teams who are here. It's like, you know, I know that there are people who have maybe some challenging circumstances, and Paul, you mentioned this too. And there are some people who use that as like the excuse or the reason that they can't succeed. You know, they're kind of like, but I haven't made any money yet. How am I going to tell others about this opportunity? You know, or da-da-da. And it's like, you were in your trailer home when you built this business, you know? And from what I gather, it's like, I think you kind of said it without saying it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like, well, you just had a vision that was greater than your problems, and you focused on that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, what would you say to, you know, our team members who maybe go, well, what do I tell people if they're, I'm not the expert yet, you know, but I'm gonna join today. I'm gonna do what it takes. I have the strong desire, like what Lawrence is talking about. I have the hustle. I'm not just gonna rely on my natural abilities. I'm willing to transform myself and learn. I'm willing to read these books. I'm willing to get the education that, you know, we're talking about, getting this marketing education. So what would you say to that person who, you know, maybe they're afraid of presenting themselves to the world from where they're at? You know, maybe they are in a trailer home. And then they're like, well, and then I'm gonna, maybe sell this to other people, resell the product. I want to be an affiliate. What do I say to people when they confront me with that? Well, what have you done with it so far?
Yeah, one of the things that comes to mind is, and I think this is the truth, people don't join you for where you're at, they join you for where you're going. And that, I think that's really the truth. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I was in my trailer house, nobody knew I was in a trailer house, right? I didn't broadcast that stuff.
Right. You
I
don't have
had
to
like,
advertise it.
I went to Walmart and I bought these big bookshelves, these big black bookshelves, and I stacked them behind me and just filled them with books. So I was in this little teeny tiny little office, and I would be on camera, and it looks like I'm like, oh, well, I'm in my library, right? But I never said that, but that was the background, right? So people maybe assumed, but I was just in this little teeny tiny office, and I knew where I was going. And the other thing that's really powerful is in this business. Look at all of us together, right? Avram and Nikki, you guys don't receive any direct financial gain from what I do, and I don't receive any direct financial gain from what you do, but we're coming together for a common purpose to help each other and to help the people around us. And that's the beautiful thing. If you're new and you're just getting started in this business, is you can leverage that. You can leverage Avram and Nikki's success. You can, just a great example. I mean, just yesterday, I did a hangout, and some of my team showed up and invited for it, and one of my team members got 2 sales. Now, I don't know for sure that those sales came from the hangout, but I do know this particular team member was struggling for a while, wasn't getting any sales, and then we do a hangout, and he gets sales, and all he did was he got some leads, which is really easy to do. You don't have to put yourself on camera to do that. Got some leads, copied an email, hit send, got the people to the hangout that your leaders and your Abram and Nikki and others will do, and you get sales, right? So you can be a part of a group, and you can leverage that until you have your own story.
Awesome, Paul.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and that's the benefit, right? We're doing hangouts like this, and you can invite people here. You're not the one that's even on camera, and you can still actually earn an income, earn money doing it. Of course, that doesn't guarantee anything. In a way, it's sort of like a numbers game. Some people will want to be a part of what's going on. Some people won't. But the resources are here. So if there's anybody that's been thinking about really jumping in bed with us, right? That's cool right here. There is a button below this video that you can click on, and then you click join, and you're going to join with the person that invited you here, right? You'll be plugged into a community. You'll be a part of a community that will help lift you up, who will help you get access to the education that's required for you to really go where you want to go. Now, I sort of wanted to transition here, and then I think I want to pull Lawrence out for this. There's something really big and magical going on with this group of people here, and people that aren't even on the hangout here today. We're making a run, right? Is that right, fellas? We're making a run. We're making like a freedom run right now, and we've all been through this place in our life where we all struggle at some point. You've heard each of our stories, little bits and pieces of it, and so that we started here, and maybe you're better off than we were when we started. I don't know, but the last bit of time has been all about us getting to the place where we weren't even thinking about money anymore, right? And we've always had a heart. All of us here have always had a heart that we want to help. We want to help people. We want to do something special for you, lift you up if there's a place where you've fallen, if there's a place where you felt down, if there's a place where you felt stuck at any point in your life. We want to help you because we've been there too. But it's really hard to help other people when you haven't gotten your own basic needs met, right? And it's hard to help people when you don't have a vision. But something that changed my life was last year when we first started having our little bit of success, right? And we met a guy named Lawrence Tam, who's here on the hangout right now, and he looked at us and was like, wait a second, so all these commissions coming through my back office are from you guys. Where did you come from? And we worked our way into his inner circle. Why? Because we knew that he had a heart that was big as ours, We knew that he had something that we didn't have that we wanted to have, and we knew that we were willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And so when we met Lawrence and he looked at us and he was like, well, I believe in you guys and I'm running. Do you want to run with me? We were like, well, yeah, we're already running. Let's go. You know, we weren't busy sitting at the starting point. You know, we were already like committed. We knew we were going somewhere. We didn't know exactly how we were going to get there, but we knew that we were going to go. And so it was last year when we first connected with Lawrence, right? That pushed us over 10K a month, right? Mm-hmm. We connected in with him again a few months later. We actually flew out to Houston to go to this inner power intensive that he did with Toby and Layla Black. Hung out, broke bread, you know, got to learn some stuff from him and Toby and Layla that really like expanded our minds in such a magical way by being with them, being in the same room. There's just something that you can't match by doing that. And we went from $8,000 in a single month to over 44K the following month. And the reason for that is because we were willing to fight our way into the inner circle. We were willing to put our pride and our ego aside and just do the little things that Lawrence said to do. He was like, hey guys, I think you should come to this thing I'm doing in Houston this weekend. Can you make it? We're like, yeah, we're going to be there. Right? He said, can you get 20, 30, 40 people to this next event that we're going to? We said yes. We didn't ask him how. We just went and we just did it. Right? Reason we were able to do it, we had somebody that believed in us the way that we believe in every single person that joins us. Right? We have that capacity to break free and to go beyond it. And we have the education to do it. We already invested in all of our education. The products and stuff we have in Empower Network, when you get all in with us, you have access to information that will absolutely blow your mind on what you can do. Lawrence, again, Paul said it, I'll say it, 144K in a month, that is freaking wild, dude. That is not a number that's thrown around with the words month next to it. It's not, right? It's the I'm the corporate bigwig, 144K in a year. It's like, no, a month. You know, and that's a life-changing income, and it's also evidence of the people that you've been able to help. Right? Because people, they're investing in their education with you. They're getting access to something that can absolutely change their life. And numbers like that are evidence of the people that you can help. And that's really what we're here to do with you. And I know each of us, our 90-day run has already started, right? Our 90-day freedom run. Lawrence has got some pretty outrageous targets. One of them is, I think, to you know, get somebody $1 million ring. Is that correct?
I want $1 million earner in my organization. And
right.
If I don't have to do anything, fantastic. But I'm digging in deep to find which of my leaders who are making. You know, I figure if you're making $5,000 to $10,000 in business, you are moldable enough to kind of pop that. And if you really break down, $1 million might seem like a lot. It's about $83,000 a month for 12 months. And knowing that what I've done, I mean, I didn't do anything more. I was doing it part-time, and it popped. So totally something that's totally doable. And, you know, we're going to be getting there. We're going to be going there. And I don't have my ring on right now. I was closet shopping, and when I shop, I don't like to have my ring on because they look at me like I have money, and then they expect me to pay more. And like I said, I'm the self-proclaimed frugal Asian. I don't want them charging me list price when I got this this giant Super Bowl ring with, I think it was I don't know how many diamonds Wood said it had, 250 diamonds or something ridiculous. But it's a symbol that average people can just have extraordinary incomes. Now, here's a funny story on top of the 144. It's real short. That same month, doing what I've learned in Empower Network, I actually did over $200,000 that month. So with the other information I had, understanding list building, understanding consulting, understanding how you run businesses, that month I decided to push, while on top of using Empower Network as a vehicle, I did over 200K. And my wife was just like, I don't understand this. And because her matrix didn't include making $200,000 in a month, right? And it kind of didn't for me either, but I surrounded myself with enough people who made over $100,000 a month. I made enough people I knew were telling me, you can do this. I've done it. Trust me, it's doable. And at that point, you're like, okay, if it's safe for you to jump off the cliff, I'll just jump too. And then once it happened, now it's like, hey, I've done it. Let's do it every month. Hey, let's do it in a day. That's my next goal. I want to make $100,000 in a day. And is it possible? From what you learn just in the master's course alone, that structure is built so you can scale your business up, understanding fundamental principles of why people buy, what people want, and how you can service them better. So, you know, it is what it is. So income disclaimer, I don't know what you're capable of doing. We use something called Empower Network. It is a really awesome marketing funnel that helps you leverage time versus, you know, you just doing everything and being a slave to your job. So, I mean, that's my story on that.
Well, Lawrence, we're going to be the ones with that ring, right? We're going to be the ones with that ring. So, you know, we appreciate you coming out. You know, one of the things that's really funny is we adjusted our vision recently to do 250K in 90 days, personally. And when I looked at that, I didn't realize it when I set that target. But that means that 250K in 90 days means when you stretch it out, that's $1 million in a year, right? That's that 83K per month that you're talking about, and that's what we're going to do because we're going to help a lot of people. And we're going to help 10 people at the same time the next 90 days break free, right? You know, that's our target too. We helped 3 people last year do that with this system, right? We have Sandy Levesque, who's moving to the beaches of Portugal very soon with her dog Chico, right? She left the whole like Zumba thing as a Zumba dancer. Like, she didn't know anything about marketing. She's been able to do that. So shout out to you, Sandy, right? Marianne Tilton's traveling all over Europe right now. You know, she's going to be visiting Bali at an orphanage that she's been supporting for years later this summer. She's going to be hanging out with us in Charlotte. She's the top earner in our downline right now. Shout out to you, Marianne. And then the third person who's been making waves recently, of course, is Ashley Webb and Jamie Webb, the Worldwide Webs, right? They did like almost 5 figures in a day earlier this week. They might even do it again, right? And they moved their entire family down to Costa Rica because they homeschool, and they're living a different kind of dream, one that most families would never be able to do. You know, he left work in real estate to doing stuff online now with the system. The system makes it easier, right? A lot of stuff is set up for you. You get the education, you get plugged in with the right people, and then you go.
Yeah.
So our run starts, it's already started really, but I think the official kickoff is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, right? And if you're with us and you're already with us, it's time to get all in, my friends. Like, time is short, right? And what we're creating now, every hour that you spend is like a normal day.
Yeah.
During other times, right? When you're running with a certain energy of people that are all coming together like this, things move incredibly fast. And if you're not in this space when we launch, boom, tomorrow, and you're not with us, it's going to be really, really hard to keep up. But that's why we're taking people with us. Right? That's why we're taking 10 people with us. Right? Lawrence has taken hundreds with him. Right? We're just getting started. Paul's taken, I don't even know how many Paul's taken. Right? If you're not with us, get with us. Click the button below. You don't have to know what the heck is even going on. You just have to know that you have a dream. You're sick and tired of being where you are. Right? Click the button below. Get your credit card out. Fill in the information. Click submit. You'll be able to join us instantly. And if you're with us already, get in, get all in. You need the education to win here. You need the education to win here. It's a special window that's open now. You don't want to miss it, right? You don't want to miss it. And then you need to meet us in Charlotte, right? Because that's where the magic happens. If we hadn't have met up with Lawrence, I don't think we would have had our biggest month ever at the time. Because this month's going to be bigger than that one, that's for sure, right? If it weren't for us going to meet with Lawrence, I don't think we would have had that experience. If we didn't lock arms with him and we didn't do what he suggested and told us to do, I think our story would be very, very different right now. That's why we're so grateful for you, Lawrence, right? Because it hasn't taken, I'm a little teary-eyed. It's like, it hasn't taken much from you, but it's made a huge difference for us, man. It's made a huge difference for us.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
We believe in our people, too. We believe in everybody who's here, We're excited for you. We're excited you get to start your journey with us. And it starts by clicking the button below. It starts by getting all in with us. And it starts by meeting us in Charlotte, because that's where we're going to lift you up, and that's where we're going to do the greatest thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
Can't you wait for everyone to do a team huddle with them? Wouldn't that be an awesome experience for a new member who goes all in, comes to Charlotte, does their team huddle? Now, you've already done it once, and kind of like you didn't know what you were being thrown into, but once you physically just said, look, this is what I'm doing, and you shouted it out, and then spoke it, like you freaking, like just spit it out, spoke into existence. It's there now. Like, you can kind of feel it, man. It's powerful.
And having a millionaire cheer for you in person, I mean, it's a bit of a paradox, because I've heard the whole saying that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference whether, you know, that you're listening to an audio and if that person's in the room. But when you're reading a book, like I used to read books and do a lot of, you know, self-development, law of attraction stuff, and I would read about, you know, somebody, you know, rags to riches or whatever. It still felt almost like a little bit of a theory, or like, well, there is this guy out there somewhere, you know, or this woman out there somewhere, you know, that I can sort of look up to from the distance. And to have, you know, 6- and 7-figure earners in the room with you, believing in you, cheering you on, it becomes that much more real for you to have it and for you to really receive it. It's like you can actually start to feel it in your body, in your cells, you know? And that to me is actually priceless. Like I don't know, you can't even put a price on that, because you're changing the trajectory of your entire future and what's actually possible for you by getting in a room with us physically. So get to Charlotte. Just get there. Do whatever it takes.
And
I got this quick story.
Your kids to karate, dude. Did you have any last thoughts before you?
Karate.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We actually changed the day, so we're good. Go for it, Lawrence. Yeah.
Well, I got this. I got the like. I like analogies because it helps me understand and digest things, right? And so, like, let's say you were tasked to like empty out a swimming pool, right? And I told you, go empty the swimming pool and just be resourceful. Just go ahead and do it. Just empty the swimming pool out because we need to do some work on it, and that's your task. Now, the average person might go and, you know, maybe try to grab it with their hands or maybe their hat, right? But then a person who's experienced in it might go, dude, just grab a bucket, right? Just start there. Start with something that works and go grab a bucket, so you can leverage something that isn't like your hands, or you're trying to like, you ever try to move water with your hands? It's just like, it's not, your hands, there's a reason why we don't swim, you know, like naturally. We sink like a rock. Like, our hands aren't webbed like ducks, you know what I mean? Can you imagine that? But a lot of people build businesses, build their lives like that. They use what they have because that's all they know. But like, dude, the bucket's right there. Why don't you use it? Now, some people might go, what bucket? Because they never see a bucket because it's upside down. And an upside down bucket doesn't look like a bucket. It looks like a shelf. It looks like an upside down pot. It doesn't look like a bucket. Being able to be resourceful in your life, understanding systems are in place to help you, that's how you properly monetize and build a business. So emptying a pool could be literally emptying your mind and absorbing information that actually works. Because here's a true statement. As long as you live, if you live to a ripe old age, you will make $1 million. It's pretty much impossible, I think, not to make $1 million if you're like 80 years old, over the lifespan, plus inflation. It's kind of like impossible not to make $1 million. The thing is, your mind knows I can do it, but can you do it within a year? How about in a month? And what I did today was we drove by some homes in Houston because we were going to look for some chandeliers. The average home there was $3 million and up. And I just thought, if these people can do it, what makes them better than myself? It's just time to increase my knowledge, become the person who can accept that type of money, and be able to redistribute and actually help, you know, orphanages, or, you know, help, you know, building my school. being able to use the proper tools and be a good tool. Because if you're a broken tool, money will leave you. I'm telling you right now, if you're not good with your money, money will leave you. You are a resource, and if you can't use resources like money, you're just not going to have it in your life. Your body will reject it, and baby's home, and so I'm going to mute out.
Awesome, awesome, brother. Hey, Paul, what do you got to say? I can see the gears turning here, man.
Just like, no, I'm pumped, guys. I think anyone who's watching this hangout right now has such an incredible opportunity. I had a realization after 5 years of trying to be free from home. I was running around with people who were talking about freedom and talking about making all this money, and after 5 years, I stopped and I said to myself, are these people that I'm following, do they have the life that I want to have? And the shocking reality was, not a one of them did. Can you believe that? And I was following them for 5 years because they were talking a good game, right? They were talking about freedom and this and that and the other. And that can happen. I actually was talking to a guy just last week. He's a leader in the home business profession, like at the top of the company. And I was like, dude, how's things going? He's like, man, they're so good. He goes, I haven't seen my family in 3 months, and I'm working 14 hours a day, but life's great. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Right? And so we got to be really careful about who we're following and who we're getting information from. And right now, on this hangout, you have $250,000 earners, Nikki and Abram. You've got a guy who's earned $200,000 in a month and well over $1 million in this business. I myself last year earned just under $250,000, so glad to say that. Income disclaimer right throughout there. But you've got people whose main core desire is to do what Lawrence said and reach down and lift people up and reach down and help people be free. And that's the truth. Right, that's what's motivating these people on this hangout right now. Is there's a line in Science of Getting Rich. Jones of Toledo, he quotes, "What I want for myself, I want for everybody." And I'm telling you, once you get a taste of freedom, once you get a taste of sitting on a property that you don't owe any money on, looking out off into the mountains in the distance on the swing in the backyard as the sun's going down, and you're like, I own this. I don't have to pay anybody for it. I'm free, and I've got a great income coming in. Once you get a taste of things like that, your vision starts to expand, and you start to ask yourself, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Well, one of the most worthwhile things I can think of is to do the best that I can to help others get what I've got and get what Avram and Nikki's got and get what Lawrence has got. And whether you realize it or not, that's the opportunity that you have right now. And since you guys think of Napoleon Hill when you think of me, I want to share a quote with everyone, then I'll turn it back to you guys. Napoleon Hill says this at the end of Think and Grow Rich, and this is so profound. He says, life is a checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You are not playing against a partner. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate indecision. The clock is ticking, my friends. The clock is ticking. Don't be the guy or the gal that lets their whole life go by without making a powerful choice, right? Wealthy people make decisions. They're decisive. They see an opportunity. They see a group of people that are speaking life into them, and they see it, and they make a decision. And that's my challenge to you. Make a decision. Partner up with us. We got a mastermind going here. It's something special, and you want to be a part of it. So that's it. Love you guys. I believe in you. Thanks for letting me share. Back to you, Abram and Nikki.
Yep. Click the button below. Get started with us, and I think you have something to say.
Well, it's been an honor to have you both, and speaking of lifestyle, I was just thinking, okay, it's after 4, and we should probably get going because, we just had a blender that broke, and so we're going to go and buy a high-end blender and buy all organic food because we're running out of food. I'm actually on a, speaking of lifestyle, one thing that, is something that you can't get back if you're poor and eating crappy food and putting crappy stuff into your body is your health. So it's like now I can invest in my health because from all those years of being broke, it caught up with me. And I just started to get so inflamed that, you know, about a month and a half ago, you know, and I just wasn't paying attention. I had so much swelling and inflammation that I looked like my face was sunburned, even though I hadn't been out in the sun for a while. And so I got tests, you know, which cost money. I found out some of the things I'm allergic to. And I went on a program that, you know, the supplements cost over $400 a month. The grocery bill is about $400 a week. And that's something now that I can do. And to me, that's priceless, because that's going to extend my life and how much my lifespan, hopefully, and, you know, how much more I can contribute to the world. So for me, that's creating wealth from the inside out. So I'm kind of like looking at the time. I've got to eat before a certain time and all those things. So, you know, we're going to have to wrap it up, and we're going to go shopping after this.
All right. Train's leaving, my friends. Get in. Get all in. Meet us in Charlotte. You can actually touch us, and you know you can touch us.
Get a man hug from Lawrence.
But if you make a lot of money, you can get a real hug from Lawrence.
Yeah,
right? If you make a lot of money, you get a real hug from Lawrence.
Yeah, if
You might be able to even get a bromance going on, right?
Oh, exactly. And then when you touch him, you'll pull your hand back and it will be solid gold.
I'm taking Lawrence out right now for our team. If you guys get 2 all-ins between now and Charlotte, then you're gonna get a full hug from Lawrence. Is that cool? Is that cool, Lawrence?
Of course.
Of course. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna finish this thing up, and we appreciate everybody for coming out and just soaking it in. We love you guys. Can't wait to run with you. See ya.
See you guys.